crew, and if you're new to the channel, this is one of our inventory videos, and for those of you guys coming back, you know what you're in for. And this time it's a bit more performance oriented. We do have an S15 Silvia, one of my personal favorites. Now this one's got quite a few mods to it. We'll have the information on our website. We've got a list of goodies here. I'll tell you a little bit about them shortly once we get to the warehouse, but just right off the bat, we definitely have a nice wide body kit on here, wider wheels and tires, brakes are upgraded, suspension is definitely upgraded, feels good, and really solid. Yeah. I got a Momo steering wheel here, bride seat is holding me down, and we do have the OEM shift knob. Got Defi gauges all around, got boost on this side, water temperature. I got the Yashio factory water temperature here with, I believe the alarm set point's somewhere around 90 to 95 Celsius, so, you know, getting close to boiling there, which is good. We got the oil temperature and we got the oil pressure gauge right here. Everything's reading good. I got boost gauge here with the jdmexpo boost controller, letting me know I got a little bit of vacuum there because I'm just cruising in 5th gear. So what do you expect? Yeah, everything's running really good here. Got an ETC system for those of you in Japan that will have some electronic toll needs. Not sure when this one's available to come into the States, but for those of you in Japan, this is, yeah, you're gonna like this. As you can hear, that boost controller is controlling boost really well. Blow-off valve sounds nice, and of course you can dial it in the way you like with the jdmexpo. So, oh yeah, since the steering wheel is up a little bit, you do have a little extension on the turn signal there, so you can still reach it. You gotta reach a little bit more for the washers there and the wipers. Alright, it's pretty healthy. With this Nismo transmission though, like the shifts are really smooth. Definitely have to tell you that that's extremely pleasant. Alrighty, so here from the interior, as you can see, dash is looking pretty good. And we got these good old gauges here. So yeah, this little housing here is just bolted on there, so you see. And seems to be all right. Wiring is pretty good. I got the little Defi controller right there. And as you can see, the Yashio factory thermometer there. As you can see the mileage there, we got 91,500 plus on the clock there, so under 100,000 kilometers. And that's freaking out because there's no oil pressure because it is off right now, so. And we do have this Kenwood audio deck / Navi system and entertainment center. It also has DVD support, so if that's what you need, we've got it. And we have this OEM shift knob here, so we do have a light controller here. Momo steering wheel. Little drift button there, so you can actually use the handbrake as necessary and it doesn't engage. So yeah, that's pretty helpful if you plan on drifting. jdmexpo. Got that boost control there and readout. And I'm gonna just step out of here so you guys can see that the interior is in pretty good shape overall. A lot of OEM and mods, so here's that bride seat that was holding me in there, and as husky as I am, I fit just fine in there. So if you happen to be under 6 foot and a little wider like I am, the husky boy lifestyle, it's good. You can actually fit in there just fine. All right, and of course the rear seats. And we do have the spacers back there if you need those, but those were actually taken off because the wheels on there right now are actually proper offset. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into the engine bay here because you guys are gonna want to see that. And we've got plenty of goodies here. We've got that Cusco tie rods and a whole bunch of other rods there connecting there. We have the whole list, so I'll just briefly go over that. We've got Cusco strut bars. And we actually do have, of course, I already mentioned about the Nismo transmission, but we also have HKS actuator. We got the Tomei pone cams, Tomei rockers, got the HPI head gasket, and we do have the R35 airflow sensors, so definitely better, more accurate readouts. Gritty boost controller, as I've keep pointing out to you with that Profec controller. GP Sports exhaust, and we also have the GP Sports cat. I'm not sure if we can actually see from there. Basically get your flow as much as you can here. As you can see, we also have good old intake with larger diameter intake piping. And a good old aftermarket intercooler here. This is actually from Trust. Aftermarket radiator, Apex reservoir tank with the SARD higher pressure coolant cap there, as well as here. So I believe this is a 2-row, so not 3, but you know, plenty of cooling there. We got an oil cooler here, oil filter relocation kit, which happens to be just down in front there, in front of the inlet, just kind of like underneath the alternator there. I think you guys can see that. Fuel filter, a lot of little things here and there, and plenty of wiring. Actually very neat on the wiring, as you can see here, and the hoses. So that's there. We also have for the reservoir, so we've got 2 reservoirs. This one actually tops off the Apex reservoir, which then ensures proper pressure and filling of the coolant system. So yeah, whenever that lets off pressure, goes over here and doubles over there. So definitely a lot of plumbing on here, a lot of good old suspension components. As I mentioned, there were Cusco suspension components. We also have Nismo front, lower, and rear arms. So pretty good stuff. Tane coilovers, Skyline brakes. So these are from the later models. So plenty of support for both your go power and your stopping power. As you can see, we got the OEM shroud here, and we do have a vented hood right there, as I'll show you a little bit here as we go through the rest of the exterior. But then we do have a little intake pipe there for the intake system, so a little bit of cold air intake, I mean. Beautiful headlights. And a high intensity system there, so everything's just nice and bright. And as you can see with that valve cover, just everything is looking fabulous here. Let me drop the hood and then I'll continue with the rest of the walkthrough. As you can see, we also do have a healthy drop with that Tane suspension. Sometimes we just leave it higher from the shipment for our later shipments, but this one has been restored to its proper and doesn't hurt your feelings level of fender gap there, so looking really good. And as you can see though, the fitment is just awesome. Nice and flush with the kit there. Now we do have the spare tire. I don't know if you guys actually care about that, but we do have it, just in case you need it. And as I mentioned earlier, while we do have spacers that came with it, the wheel set that we got does not need it. So Very good offset on here. And so looking in the trunk space here, you'll see we have plenty of it. So if you wanted to add an audio system, or if you wanted just to take it out to save some weight, you've got your options available to you. You do have that strengthening bar there to keep the chassis rigid. And of course under here, you can tell it's quite stock. We have the spare tire there, so we also have the jack, which happens to be on the other side here, a little pouch. So we've got everything in there, and the sound deadening, so it's not echoing and rattling around. Good stuff. As you can see, we do have this aftermarket wing. It's raised up a little bit. Looking really fine. As always, I want to thank you for stopping by, and if you're looking for any other information about this or any other vehicles, make sure to hit up our sales team, info@jdm-expo.com. And you can also hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They'll be able to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours, depending on time of day that you sent it and time zone. So if you're just curious about the process, you can also ask them about that. They'll be able to give you some details. And for the most part, shipping has really caught up these days, so shouldn't have too much delay, but there is limited space on outgoing vessels, so we have to check if we can get you on the next boat. So Hope everything's good wherever you are in the world. Keep the JDM dreams alive, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We've got a couple more hot ones on the way, so you guys are going to want to see that.